how do we assess the Florida Gators going into 2023? You just had year one of the Billy Napier era. You won 6 ball games, looked really great at times. Beat Utah in the opening game in the Swamp, and we were all ready to give Anthony Richardson the Heisman Trophy, talking about all the great things Billy Napier was going to do at Florida. And then you lose to Kentucky, and then there's the loss to Vanderbilt on the resume. Like, what do we make of Florida? There's a lot of conversation around what they are in Gainesville right now, and I think we need to take a step back, not be a victim of the moment, and just sort of try to process this entire thing we got going right now in Gainesville. Think about what Florida was when he got there. Recruiting was not up to par. Was not up to par. Billy Napier now making efforts to overhaul that. Trying to do some work in the portal as well. But year one, if you're a fan, it was just bumpy. Like I said, you have one great moment that you're excited about the future of the Billy Napier era. You have other moments where you're losing to Vanderbilt and you're like, y'all, what are we doing here? Where is this thing headed? What I would say to that is, what did you expect? And I don't say that in a condescending way. I say genuinely, you look at what was under the hood at Florida. What were we expecting from this team? New head coach, new quarterback, lackluster depth. Really good at some positions. Got a lot of ballers. I'm not saying that by any stretch. But in the SEC, in the rigorous schedule they play, like, yeah, you got to have some dudes that can step in when somebody else goes down. We saw multiple times Florida had issues with the depth that they were left with. Again, not Billy Napier's fault. Not all situations you inherit are created equal. And it wasn't bad, but to say that we thought he was going to win 10 games in year one, like, did you think that? I wasn't buying that. I think I had him win 8 games. They went 6-7. They had 3 one-score losses. So let's not act like Florida is somehow collapsing here. Florida's not collapsing. Florida's just fine. Florida's not off schedule either. Like I just said, what just happened a season ago is about what you would expect with the variables that they had in place, right? So let's take a look at this. What do we make of Florida currently right now? A lot of people saying a lot of things, and I want to talk about them. Really quickly, though, make sure you're subscribed. We've had a ton of the Florida Gator faithful join us here in the last couple of weeks, so thank you for that. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're glad you're here. If you haven't yet joined the party, no time like the present. Subscribing just helps us get better analytics to then produce the content you want. I say analytics in terms of intel for us, not to look good. It looks good, but you hear what I'm saying. Helps us help you. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, @JDPakel. Appreciate y'all for that. Okay, so people are saying a lot of things, like I was just saying. One thing you're hearing, but the coaches left, man. Billy Napier can't keep a staff together. What's up with that, dude? Okay, yes, you had some coaches leave, but they're not leaving for a lateral position. They're leaving for the NFL, okay? They're leaving for the premier level of this sport. And at that premier level, just to be real with you, the money's pretty good and the style of life is pretty good as well. You're not recruiting. You're just coaching ball, okay? And some people love recruiting. I would imagine it's nice to go home to your family after a long day at work and not have to go hit the recruiting trail. Just the way it is. So these people aren't leaving, by my estimation, because Billy Napier is somehow a sinking ship and they want off. No. Got an opportunity to go coach for the Shield. It's a big deal, okay? So you can't really fault him for having guys leave for the elite level of what football is. Okay? The other thing people are saying, man, but recruiting isn't as good as we thought it was going to be. We were promised Billy Napier and Billy's Army and what he was going to do on the recruiting trail and all this, that, and the other. I would say, I hear you. That's fair. It wasn't a top 10 class. It's just outside of that. It was the number 11 class in the 2023 cycle. It's better than it was, right? It's better than it was before. It had the number 20 class in 2022. That ain't going to cut it. I understand it's not what you want, but it might get you closer to what you need. Okay, and it for sure doesn't look like you're just collapsing on yourself if you're Florida. I don't see that. Come on now. There's a couple ways to look at this. The other thing that we're hearing is, well, kids are hitting the portal. At the time of us recording this, Micah Mazuka tweeted out who's going to hit the portal. Since deleted that tweet. The intel that I received, again, at the time of us recording this, is that he was still with the team, so we'll see what happens with that whole situation. But from an even broader strokes perspective, kids are hitting the portal. Guess what? They're doing that everywhere. Like these situations, these issues aren't unique to Florida. You know who else had coaches leave for the NFL? Georgia. Their OC left for the NFL. They just won a national title. Guys are transferring out. Kids leave for the portal. Kids leave for different situations, whether it's right or wrong. It's not all about Florida. It's all individual situations. Okay, so for us to sit here and say Florida's collapsing, like, I don't buy that. I don't think anybody that's being really reasonable is buying that. And here's what I would just say about Florida as a whole right now. It's okay to not have a strong opinion on what they are and what Billy Napier is as a coach. It's okay for us to still say, yeah, we don't have enough data. Sue me. I don't know. We don't know yet. And you don't have to know. I think sometimes we get caught up in the SEC branding and the Florida branding, and they should be this, and our mind wants them to be this certain kind of program. It's like, dude, I don't know. He's been there for a season in a winter conditioning period. Like, I don't know. They just started spring ball. Like, let's give it some time. They looked great last year at points. They looked really bad at other points. I don't know. Let's see what Graham Mertz is, man. Let's see what Andy Jean does, the young freshman they're excited about. Let's give it some time. Austin Armstrong calling the defense. He's 29. Is he going to be any good? I don't know. But Nick Saban wanted him on his staff. That's a good sign. We don't have to have a strong opinion on Billy Napier in Florida at this point in time, regardless of what certain people on Twitter or different media types would try to get you to believe. This is still a work in progress. To use a rather extreme example, you don't look at your grade schooler and say, well, they're not going to be a good college student because they just failed life science. It's life science, dude. I don't know. He's just figuring it out. Give him a break. Who knows what he's going to be when he gets to college? That's an extreme example, like I was just saying, but you catch my drift. It's a work in progress. Unfinished things don't always look pretty. Let's let them finish this thing. Let's let them keep working on it. Let's see what year 2 brings. All that's to say, how do you assess Florida? Give it some time. How do you assess Florida? Maybe you don't really need to assess them right now. Maybe we can let it breathe a little bit. I think there's a lot of benefit to that. This has been The Hard Count. Nick, Break, Lift, and Heavy. This is your show. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all so much. This is a blast and a privilege to do this for a job. Y'all make it possible. So we're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.